Welcome back to Rumor Mill News Media, where we give you the latest news updates. A shocking and violent ambush has left a community in Old Harbor, St. Catherine, reeling after a 64-year-old man was shot and injured by a masked gunman on Tuesday night. The victim was attacked in the Colbeck district, an incident that has amplified concerns over safety in the area. Reports indicate that the elderly man had just alighted from a taxi and stepped into a business establishment along the Colbeck Main Road around 6:45 p.m. when the assailant appeared. The gunman, his face reportedly hidden by a mask, immediately launched the attack, discharging his weapon and striking the man multiple times in the upper body. Following the brutal assault, the shooter fled the scene on foot. The injured man was quickly rushed to a medical facility for urgent care, where he has since been admitted for treatment. The Old Harbor police have confirmed they are actively investigating the incident, appealing to the public for any information that may lead to the capture of the masked perpetrator. In a development underscoring persistent concerns over police conduct, 2 police constables have been formally charged for allegedly using their service weapons to beat a man in the racecourse area of Falmouth, Trelawney. Constables Daniel Osborne and Craig Chang appeared before the Trelawney Parish Court at Duncan's on Monday, facing a charge of assault occasioning actual bodily harm. The charges stem from an incident reportedly occurring on March 7, 2024, in which the complainant alleges he sustained injuries to his head, back, and hands from strikes delivered with the officer's guns. Following an investigation by the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions ruled that the policeman should be charged. The constables have been bound over to return for trial in January 2026. A courageous attempt to de-escalate a fight tragically cost a 21-year-old Manchester farmer his life this week. The deceased has been identified as Rayon Williams, a higgler from the Harry Watch district, who was fatally stabbed while trying to break up a violent altercation. Reports from the Christiana police indicate that around 5:30 p.m. in Harry Watch, Williams and another higgler were approached by 48-year-old Clyde Williams of Silent Hill, leading to an argument that quickly escalated into a physical tussle. When Clyde Williams allegedly pulled a knife and stabbed the first man, the young Rayon Williams bravely intervened to quell the attack but was stabbed in the chest for his effort. Both injured men were rushed to the hospital, where Rayon Williams was pronounced dead. The other man remains admitted for treatment. The police arrested and formally charged Clyde Williams with murder and wounding with intent, following an operation at his home on Monday, October 13th, as a court date for the accused is now being finalized. Tragedy struck the Jamaica Constabulary Force on Wednesday, as a policeman was found dead in his St. Elizabeth home in a suspected suicide, an incident linked to ongoing mental health struggles. The deceased has been identified as Constable Arnold Wilson, who was assigned to the Halfway Tree Police Station in St. Andrew, but resided in the Williamsfield District, St. Elizabeth. Reports indicate that at approximately 5:30 p.m., a neighbor made the grim discovery, finding the constable's body hanging from an ackee tree in his yard and immediately raising the alarm. Preliminary information suggests that Constable Wilson had been deemed unfit for duty due to visible signs of mental instability and was reportedly on leave, receiving treatment at the time of his death. Family members noted that his mental health had significantly deteriorated following the recent death of his father overseas. Investigators from the Santa Cruz Police are now probing the full circumstances surrounding the death of their colleague. A frantic manhunt is underway for a courier company employee who was suspected of stealing a colossal sum of between $15 and $20 million in cash from a company truck in St. Andrew over the past weekend. The suspect, identified as a driver for the security firm Beryllium, was part of a 3-member team assigned to collect cash from the Megamart store on Waterloo Road last Saturday. Sources indicate that while his 2 colleagues were inside the premises, the driver allegedly used the opportunity to remove his uniform, abandon his assigned firearm, and flee the scene with the massive cash haul. The police have since conducted a search of the man's home in Linstead, St. Catherine, but he remains at large. Furthermore, community sources suggest the suspect had not been seen in his neighborhood for months prior to the audacious theft, leading investigators to believe the heist may have been meticulously planned. Dancehall superstar David Movado Brooks can finally put a long-standing legal matter behind him, expressing a sigh of relief after a warrant for his arrest was officially withdrawn on Wednesday morning. The entertainer, who had been living overseas for almost a decade, returned to Jamaica on Tuesday night and promptly moved to address the issue. The warrant dated back to a 2018 incident where Brooks was wanted by the authorities on a charge of assault occasioning actual bodily harm. By meeting with police investigators, accompanied by his attorney, Brooks fulfilled the necessary legal requirements, thereby closing this chapter and removing the threat of immediate arrest upon his return to the island. Mounting worries about a potential public health crisis are gripping parts of Kingston and St. Andrew this afternoon, driven by a crippling and persistent backlog in garbage collection. Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, has publicly criticized the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, for its failure to manage the worsening situation, revealing that some frustrated residents have been forced to endure uncollected waste piles for nearly 2 months. Compounding the problem, Mayor Swaby also noted that routine street sweeping operations, particularly in the critical downtown market district, have been neglected. The mayor is now urgently calling on the NSWMA's leadership to take swift and decisive action to address the massive refuse backlog before the situation deteriorates further into a major health emergency. In a dazzling performance that has ignited the nation's World Cup hopes, the Reggae Boys secured a dominant 4-0 sweep over Bermuda at the National Stadium on Tuesday night, immediately reclaiming the top spot in Group B of the CONCACAF final round of 2026 World Cup qualifying. Jamaica asserted control from the opening whistle, relentlessly pressing until their early dominance was rewarded in the 24th minute, when a Casey Palmer cross deflected off Bermudan defender Dante Leverock for the opener. The floodgates opened quickly, with Ronaldo Cephas setting up Bobby de Cordova-Reid just 2 minutes later for the second, and Shamar Nicholson adding a third in the 35th minute. The second half saw no let-up, as 19-year-old Dujuan Whisper Richards sealed the comprehensive victory in the 76th minute with a brilliant solo run and finish. With Trinidad and Tobago and Curaçao drawing 1-1 earlier in the day, this commanding win now places Jamaica firmly atop Group B with 9 points, significantly boosting their prospects of automatic qualification for the 2026 World Cup.
As you say, I think it was a great response from the team. And what we wanted was to be back in control of the group. Got to thank Trinidad for getting a result at Curaçao. And still a lot of work to do. But we're pleased with the reaction. We're pleased with the performance. Changed a few things. Brought in energy, really. And the players responded. Well done to those who unfortunately didn't play, but they've contributed to getting the team ready. Congratulations to the team who started. Well done, and well done to the subs who came on. We knew this game was going to be for 95 minutes, and everybody was ready, impacted, good start, got the lead, controlled the game. 75% possession, 28 shots on goal. You couldn't ask for any more. Maybe apart from a few more goals, but let's not be greedy. And now it's about the players and staying healthy, getting some minutes at the club, and coming back for what are 2 absolutely massive games in a few weeks.
It looks like we're all out of time for today. A huge thank you for watching Rumor Mill. You know the drill. If you enjoyed the segment, please give us a like, share it far and wide, and subscribe to join the community. We'll see you next time.